Matter of fact, right now I'm working on Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Is the one I'm working on, which is kind of challenging,
Yeah.
incredibly challenging, because I mean, look at me, I'm
Yeah.
fucking white.
Yeah.
That could be a problem, because who wants to listen to a white guy talking about how?
You'd be surprised.
I know you do, but I mean, you and I have talked about this stuff, and like I think you get it. I think you're on the higher end of things. Like you're like, all right, all this is, as far the approach I'm taking on this particular one is like all this shit that the Black Lives Matter is movement is centered around is complete bullshit. I mean, just based on the numbers themselves, and what's really going on is the media and the government are like saying, hey, we're gonna like keep fanning these flames of racism, even though statistically it's completely insignificant, and make it sound like it's a bigger issue than it really is. And I found a fantastic Mark Twain quote today. It said, it's easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them that they're being fooled.
I agree.
I think that speaks perfectly to what's going on.
Well, you gotta. I heard a guy say last Sunday that the black culture, well, not I won't say the culture, but black people are very emotional, right? So you have a lot of truth to what has occurred in the history of this country, what's occurring. There's a lot of facts, like there's a lot of shit that's really happening, right?
Right.
But like you said, these movements, just like anything else, men have a way of defiling anything they do. Like you can have something that has the greatest intent in the world, but then you put value to it, and they'll figure out where to fuck it up, right? So, with the Black Lives, and to be honest with you, I don't necessarily subscribe to certain movements, quote unquote movements, because a lot of them don't have direction. It's weird as shit, and then people get a hold of it, and then they start using it for their own agendas and this and the third. But what I will say,
right? Yeah,
I marched. Well, I went to the march down in Nashville after the shootings. Was that June, whenever that was, and the Dallas cops got shot and different things. And I went down there, and the bottom line that I take away from that, not movement, but that display of unity or whatever, is the actual physical side by side walking down the road with a white dude that's screaming like Black Lives Matter, stop killing black folks, and then the black dude like all lives, like that one moment of unity that comes out of that whole big ass ordeal is what really matters in my eyes, because at the end of the day, you can march. I mean, you can have all these issues, political issues, point the fingers, this person fault, this that person fault. But at the end of the day, we got a whole other generation coming behind this one. There's gonna be another one coming behind that one. So if we can figure out a way to knock down some barriers there that start just as simple as showing up somewhere together peacefully, of course, because I mean that shit could have went way left. Any of these protests or acts of protest could go left at any moment. But just the actual coming together, and I hate that it have to be because somebody got killed or because somebody disagrees with something, but
some kind of catalyst causes, which that's usually typically how this stuff happens. People are moved to action because they see a problem. Shit happens.
Instead of just saying, hey man, hey, what's up, bro? It got to be something crazy. But
you said a couple things that was kind of interesting, and talking about that movement down in Nashville, you was talking about it was beautiful. Everybody's working together and talking. And I feel like in reality that is what is going on. However, if you were to look on the news and what the news is feeding you,
don't see that.
You would think that Black Lives Matter is out there just tearing shit up, being fucking crazy, and like that is the whole thing, which makes more. The second thing you said was interesting was the emotionality of it all. So what they're doing is they're tapping into that emotionality, and these guys, young adolescent men, ain't got no direction anyway. They're looking for something to grab onto, some cause to have, which is great.
That's
and they're channeling that energy and going.
Suggestive thinking shit is deep. I remember a long time ago I had read something about, what was it, the Vietnam War or something like that. It might not have been the Vietnam War, guys. Don't get me to lying, but anyway, it was I think it was the Vietnam War, but it was wrapping around the idea of that before radio was very before the reach in television was what it is now. whatever war was going on, people, the United States was like gung ho, right? And then when TV and television kicked in, people could see for themselves what the hell was happening. I think it was Vietnam, and then people's perspective started changing. They seen Americans getting half-ass blown off and coming back all mangled and everything. When you take these movements and specifically the Black Lives Matter movements, you have a mood in this country, in the black community, that's like not really at a boiling point. Like I remember the Rodney King riots, and you can go back to the Watts riots, the Detroit riots, and different riots of our history. Right. That was like the boiling point because shit got real, when stuff happened. These that we have now are not as volatile as those were, but at the same time, there's still like a climate of wanting to do something but not knowing, like you kind of said, no direction.
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
no idea where to go with it.
Yeah, sure. They're not mad enough where they see a kid get blown away that they really flip some shit over, but at the same time they do want to just they would stand next to someone else. And so you can implement whatever you want to implement into that little chaos right there, and the media is doing that every day, and they're taking, because when we was at the rally. Okay, so
yeah, tell me about that.
So okay, you got, and how all these rallies seem to be designed. Okay, you have like a leader with a bullhorn, a couple people with a bullhorn.
Okay,
and they're what I took from it, the end of this rally, it was amazing. We walked the streets. It was like, Black Lives Matter, no more killing, cricket pigs gotta stop, or whatever the chant was. Then at the end, we end up at the Justice Center downtown. And it gets into a political thing. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, who to vote for, what we need to do. Okay, so that's kind of like an opportunity to slip that agenda in. Now, I can about guarantee you that none of the black people out there would vote for Donald Trump. No way. And I'd say probably 60% of them wouldn't vote anyway. Never have, probably never will. Yeah. But then you get to that end of that rally where now, you had this awkward ass moment where it was a lot of white people out there, a whole lot, probably 60-40 40% white, 60% black. But now you got this weird vibe where you got a black dude up there going crazy, talking about F Donald Trump, and it's an uncomfortable vibe, right? And of course, you probably know Nashville has changed.
Well, probably a little awkward because you constantly got Hillary Clinton campaign calling Donald Trump a racist, which is clearly not true.
And now you have then this is the thing, we gotta figure out how we define certain things, right? Is Donald Trump racist? I don't know. Has he said some racist shit? Probably so. So you get this, and what I mean by racist shit is something that's insensitive to a specific.
Well, I guess insensitivity.
Yeah.
Or political correctness.
That's a fine line, because
that's different from racist.
It is, but if you look at it, if you're not looking at it, if you're just sensitive. You're not looking at it like that. You just take, it's like if your wife come home and she says I don't even know what kind of example to use, but if you're looking from a different scope, it could be misconstrued as maybe not racism but extreme insensitivity, and that. But anyway, like the hell with that. That's a whole different. We'll get to that on a little in a second. All right. But anyway, like that rally was. It ended with an agenda. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because we came together like boom. Then at the end, it was like this. I don't know if it was separation, but it was some weird faces out there. Because you got the new East Nashville, which is pretty much all white, right? And they're down with the cause, but as soon as you kick politics in it, gentrification and this, that, and the third, you exclude them from the whole thing, because that's like, I swear to God, it was like a guilt look on most of them faces, right? Because they're like, well, damn, a lot of them are not from Nashville. A lot of them come from different places, and migrate down here because it's thriving right now, right? And so, but then when you kick in, these people took over gentrification, took over our neighborhoods. It's like, damn, these same people that's here with us supporting, now they like excluded. So it's so many different insensitive ass agendas going on, and instead on both
either
sides,
side, for
and
sure.
instead of just bringing it together, like, okay, look, guys, let's just stand for one. Let's try to tackle one giant cause, and really, at the end of the day, what Black Lives Matter to me means is stop killing unarmed black folks. That's what I thought it meant, but now it's got like 101 different definitions.
Yeah, even in my research, man, it's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah, somebody called him out.
What it is, exactly.
Somebody called him out. I think it was I don't want to get the line, but I think it was like a black person that had said something in regards to their mission statement got picked apart, and that's just.
I mean, you got to look at
that's
stuff
misappropriation. Like like from the Black Lives Matter, and some people might say, "Oh, you sound like dumb as hell," and I might be, but that movement or that organization, it just seems like jumped into something maybe with good intent, but then just start just reaching. You know what I'm saying? Just reaching for a lot of other shit that probably don't need to be.
It's almost this sense that there's this boogeyman out there that they're all after. Everybody's after this boogeyman. We're trying to take him down, but we can't find him. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, there's the police there. They're killing unarmed black guys. Look at the news. Look at the news. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah. And it's like, oh, let's get them. Let's get those guys. Those guys are the assholes. Take those down. Yeah. And then it becomes, like you said, it kind of splinters off in all these
a bunch of different
things. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on, guys.
And that's you got to focus on something. Like, you got to have a level of. I mean, I don't know. I've never ran an organization. I've never ran anything that big, but. So I can imagine there's obstacles there where you have to figure out how to keep the attention of people, but at the same time, whatever they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, man, it's like this country has had the same problem probably since its origin of just okay, it's a right and a wrong way to do everything, and honesty is the truth is one way. It's not like your truth or my truth. It's just the truth. Whatever
it is, either is true or it is not true.
Yeah, and that's
called logic.
That's just common sense and logic is something that flees our society, because at the end of the day, like, I think what they really want to say is we're tired of being whatever they're tired of, what am I tired of being? I don't know what I'm tired of being.
I feel like there is a problem. Yeah. Everybody knows there's a problem.
That's it.
But we're looking for somebody to point out what that problem is to us,
or we're looking for a face of that problem. Which, at the end of the day, everybody is human here. Like
that man.
So you can't say all white people are racist. You can't say all black people are whatever they call all black people. There's some black people who could give a as like to any about anything. Their mentality is, I'll make my own way. Not looking for a handout, not looking for anything. Yeah, then you got some that's like, well, hey, whatever, 40 acres and a mule. And then just like you got some white people to say, fuck all black people. And then you got some to say, hey, man, that's my, shit. We've been hanging since the third grade.
You're
whatever.
Dealing with a population of over 350 million people. You're going to have, I mean, I'm not saying racism isn't real, but statistically, it's basically non-issue. It's non-existent. It's statistically insignificant. Because
you know what it is? Racism is the shit that happened, and like black people probably say, "Oh, he sounds like a fucking Uncle Tom," but I'm gonna try to say this in a way that don't sound stupid and it don't sound like I'm bullshit. 100 years, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, when black people and women couldn't vote, to me, people play around with the white supremacist mentality. Fact of the matter is, it was a point in time in this country where, in this world probably, but I say this country, where black people were not considered fully human. Like, that's documented, right? But even that, like the word racism, and I would have to look the definition up, but that's a mental problem. Like, if you think, if you break it down to like bare means, if you think you're better than somebody, that's like a personal issue. Like, that ain't even fault against the person that you. That's just like you got something else in your shit that's kind of messed up, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that the injustice that occurred in history towards black people, Spanish people, even with the Jews and the whole Hitler thing, can you blanket that and say that's race? That's just some motherfuckers who just did some dumb shit. Just had like some personal issues that took it out on other people. So you could define it as racism or whatever you want. But today, in this day and age, I do know that there are people who, for example, I've been what I would consider targeted before racially, profiled, stereotyped, whatever you want to call it. I've been called the N-word in not a compassionate way, not like a greeting. I've been through some foul shit, right? But what I say, that the entire population of white people are bad. It is I've been held at gunpoint, not even like shotgun point, by the police when I did nothing wrong. And I'm the first to tell you, I've done a lot of wrong shit in my life, and been held accountable for most of it, unfortunately. But I've been through that whole cycle, right? But at the end of the day, when we're talking about racism, it is what it is. Whatever it is or whatever it ain't, it's just that. Whether it's a esteem problem with certain people, whether it's a I'm better than you mentality, a supremacist mentality, whatever it is.
And the thing is, if you call somebody a racist, the only the people that really are racist, they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, of course I'm a racist too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like it's only meant to like put people on their heels.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna get called a racist, it's not. Obviously I'm not a racist.
Yeah.
And you know that.
Right.
You just want to put me on my heels and put me on the defense.
Right.
And that's not an honest conversation at all.
You're right. And then also, I think too, racism is not that hard to identify. Like disagreements, not agreeing with someone, and them being like, the Colin Kaepernick shit that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So the coach for,
we actually did an episode about that. So.
Okay, well, I just want to put something in that I saw.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
The coach for Houston, the college coach, or Oklahoma, whatever school he's from. He said some shit that was very racist sounding. Right? He said something to the extent of, first he used Martin Luther King, inaccurate part of Martin Luther King's speech to kind of like say, okay, well, everybody, I want the same thing you guys want, equality for all, right? But then he went on to say something to the effect of, it sounded like stay in your place, boy. That's what it sounded like, right?
Okay.
Now, if you like, if
who was this?
The coach for, I should have brought my laptop in so I could Google it. The coach for Oklahoma, I want to believe, or Texas, one of those big.
We'll look it up.
We can look it up,
and if I'm sure there's an article on it. I'll post it. I'll post that in the links below there.
Yeah, and if I'm misquoting them, I apologize, but it to the black ears, it sounds like stay in your place, boy, and that's a common like racist ass mindset, right? But I think what he did was, and like Colin Kaepernick, for example. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing, because to be honest with you, he played football last year, and he was a starter last year, and I think Trayvon Martin, I think Tamir Rice might have been last year. It was a lot of these deaths that happened last year during the season, before the season. So all of a sudden to do it now, I don't know why he did it. We're not even concerned why he did it, but. I think sometimes it's a misconception of disagreeing and somebody says, "Oh, since you disagree with my plight or my whatever I'm doing, then your mentality is trying to suppress, oppress me." Right?
It's like saying the opposite of Black Lives Matter is Black Lives don't matter.
Exactly.
And that's not the case at all. Like,
exactly. I agree with. I think I see what you're saying, because because the opposite of Black Lives Matter would be like, fuck Black Lives, right? Did you would think, but actually, it could be like,
if you're on that side of things and you're like, got this cause, I got this cause, I'm for Black Lives Matter, and anybody else that doesn't agree with that cause is the opposite of that, which must be
exactly, but it's not. It's not, because I feel like I don't think anybody would be against. I don't think anybody would be anti Black Lives Matter. I think I think it'd be just like I don't agree with how you guys are. What am I trying to say? You might get to help me with this.
No, it's for me. I'm on the outside of it and looking, and I'm going, look, guys, you guys are falling for this bullshit.
Yeah.
You're falling for the bullshit, and you don't even see it. It's right there in front of your face. Yeah. And this happens every time you have a major election cycle come around. All of a sudden, you start hearing about, there's a race wars. Everybody hates each other, and it's like it's so. Yeah. If you're able to stand back and look at it, it's so obvious. Yeah. And it happens in these cycles. Yeah. And it's just the big wigs at the top. Yeah. They're sitting there going, you know what? We got our own shady shit. We gotta get done. Right. We gotta pass these laws that nobody's gonna like, and it's gonna screw everything up. Right. But problem is, if y'all know about it, if you know about it, it's a problem. So what we gotta do is we need to say, look, dude, y'all, this guy don't like you, and this guy don't like you, and you two, black, white, rich, poor, the working class, and the rich, and the you gotta let all these divide and conquer tactics. Like you're some damn magician over here going, hey, look over here, guys. Look over here while I'm over here messing with.
In order to run this many people, you got to be creative as shit, and these people are very
manipulative.
Like they're the best at what they do. I mean, like it's no other way to explain how a country could run for this long, on this scale, with there's been change, but you gotta think, poor black people and poor white people, the same thing. Like there's not a big difference there. Like middle class white people, middle class, the same shit.
And statistically, with the introduction of the welfare state, white families are about a generation behind that of the black family in terms of single parenthood and shit, like just that bullshit. It's going. To be fair, you said you talking about how the country has gone this long. Yeah. I would say at the very beginning of it, we had some real good libertarian viewpoints. Yeah. We wanted small government. The government was just supposed to be a little thing that we can kind of keep in a box. Yeah. And what started out as the world's smallest government, it was like an experiment in the world's smallest government. We were doing fantastic things. Yeah. Has now become the world's largest government, and it's like got their fingers in everything. Full of shit. Yeah. And people that are looking at it real close right now, we can see, hey, in about a decade or so, mathematically, the numbers just ain't going to work. No. This ship is going down right now, and most people, we feel it on the lower levels. Yeah, the impoverished feel it the worst. Yeah. And the black community tends to be on the lower end of that. Yeah. So they're feeling it even more than maybe I'm feeling it, or my, Yeah. And now they're looking for something to lash out at. Like, this is bullshit. What is going on here? Yeah. I don't know what exactly is happening, but something's wrong. Yeah. Well. And there's the government. There you go. Here's what's wrong. Yeah.
Instead of truth, the truth to me is, okay, for instance, I'm broke, right? And if you look at it, like, if you really be honest, like, I'm broke as shit, right?
I'm basically broke too.
And then I say, why am I broke? There's nobody preventing me from gaining wealth at all. Now, what is preventing
I could argue that, but go ahead.
Well, there's no person standing in front of me preventing me. Like, there's no white dude, like, hey, dude, you can't do this.
Yeah, we got all this. You can't have none of that.
Yeah, it's not that. Now, somewhere there's something that, whether it has been put in effect 1,000 years ago or yesterday, there's some shit up there that's working against us all. But right now, my work ethic, my credit, my spending habits, shit like that is what's got me where I'm at right now. And you could like I did a thing.
It's called personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility.
And you recognize it. Accountability.
I did a thing last Sunday. It's Return of the King. It's like a award ceremony for black men in the community that's been doing things right. And we did a panel discussion. There was a mental health speaker, a financial speaker, me talking about fatherhood. Ironic as that sounds.
You should have told me about that. I'd like to come.
Man, I did a bachelor party that Saturday. I had to drive back here. I was kind of like, that's when my voice is still fucked up because it was a rough weekend. But what I took out of that was this guy named Corey Belk or Bell. I had to look him up on Facebook, but he's a financial guy, right? I think he's a drug dealer, a former drug dealer that realized that this shit ain't working for me. This is not the way I want to live my life, and took some of the the ideas that he had there and then translated them into a legitimate career in insurance and real estate and something like that. Cool dude, right? So he was talking about self-esteem.
So he's out there hustling and making something of himself.
Yeah, he's working his ass off, right? Yeah. And he was very his viewpoint was rough. Like, it was like straight in your face. Like, dude, stop all that watered down bullshit about God is gonna do this and da 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 da. You got to get up on your own and do your shit. But he said something that was profound to me, but it was simple. He's talking about self-esteem. He said, talking to the black community. It was a lady who asked a question about how could we, the people in the community, the black community, that's not privy to like information on the internet and this, that, and third, and like mental health and like, they can't reach some of the resources that are available. How can we reach them, right, and help them? Well, he was saying, I said, everybody is not reachable. Like, I'm a Christian. I don't even like to use that term Christian, but I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. But, and it's a lot that goes with that. But in the Bible, it talks about, if you let's just say this is heaven up there, everybody's not gonna make it to heaven. That's just like you said earlier about numbers. Like, statistically, like, nobody's going nowhere all at the same time. Everybody's not gonna make it nowhere. So I was telling the lady, I was like, you have to be an example. You that's one of our biggest benefits that we have. Like, just if you're promoting something, you got word of mouth.
Yeah.
You are your word of mouth, like, to change. Like, if I'm walking a certain way and people in my community say, damn, Ford is doing shit this way and that's working for him, it might take 100 years for them to get it, or they may never get it, but you can't force
some people will, though.
Some people, more than not, most of the time, I found out. So anyway, the dude was saying, for those who don't get it, or for those who want to help others get it, you got to look at your self-esteem, right? He was saying that the black community that's where I got that emotional shit from. Like, we are very emotional. When he said that, I had to think, like, so is he saying, fuck these people's grievances? Like these people really feel like some shit going on, and he's basically saying we just too emotional. That's at first I was like, damn, but then I got to thinking about it. We are very emotional people. As a people, we've been through a lot of stuff that probably would create that sensitivity to certain shit. But the fact of the matter is, we are very sensitive, right? And
there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing, for sure.
And if you go back in time, like if you go to the Black Panthers, those were very emotionless guys. Like, fuck this emotion shit. That didn't get us nowhere. Let's act like this. So anyway, he was saying, like, long story short, I was trying to get to the point where we were talking about how, I won't say we're on the same playing field, but we're humans, so we are on the same playing field. He was saying that if you want to figure out why you're broke, why you're having some issues that you're having, look at your self-esteem. That will show you where your money goes, wherever you're lacking in your self-esteem. If you're insecure about such and such, if you such and such, just look where that'll show you where your paper trail is going. And that's like a universal. That's just not a black thing. That's like,
yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about it as you're saying that. I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's true as hell.
That's just what it is.
Once I started focusing on that, man, all of a sudden I get direction. I know I know exactly what to do. I think that what I'm thinking is that if you give a man, how was it? If you give a man a strong enough why, he'll bear anyhow or something. Man, I'm butchering the shit out of it.
But I get
it's like
where you're
basically if you give somebody direction,
right,
and they have that direction,
right,
they'll do anything in their fucking power to make that shit happen.
Yeah, it's just like if you it's accountability in a nutshell. But some people don't recognize like that whatever you were just saying about the why, the big enough why. I know for a fact if you say, hey, for I'm seeing this in you, and this in you, and this in you. If you can change this, you might be able to help this way. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be like, oh shit, it could be bullshit, and like you could be selling me a complete dream, but if it sounds good enough, and if I can look at myself and say, oh, put the dots together, like, if I fix
apply
this,
it to
man, I'm going, and I might hit a dead end if it's some bullshit, but if it's something that can benefit, I'm gonna hit it. And so as a people, not black or white, just in general, the state of this country and the state that we are in, to me, it starts up here. Just like you said with the Black Lives Matter thing, it's propaganda, man. It's some like.
So I'm imagining you've got this mindset, and you're sitting there. All you hear from the time you're born is that, you know, you're being controlled. You ain't never gonna go nowhere. You know, the whole world is against you. The white guys they got all the power, and they're controlling everything.
You won't get that shit out your head.
You won't be. You know, you ain't worth nothing. We have to give you welfare because you can't do it on your own. Like we got to take care of you. It's like you're being patted on the head. Like, oh, that's adorable. I'm glad you're trying, but you might as well just give it up, man. What do you do? What do you do in that situation when you're sitting there? That's your mindset, and everybody in your community is keeps feeding you that.
You gotta look at how amazing and how much in order to have a miracle, you have to have an adverse situation at hand, right? You look at, and this goes with what you're saying. You look at people in the black community, you be like, oh, how did Lil Wayne come from? I'm just using him because he first came to my mind. How did this guy go from where the hell he from? Holly Grove projects and worst situations.
Everybody's looking at the to this sports guys and the rappers right now as the big role models.
It's a miracle though, because of what you just said. The way we're raised with that helpless woe is me mentality, mixed in with Christianity, not so much religion. I mean, not so much spirituality, but Christianity.
As far you talking about, as far as the rules.
Yeah. You raised as this like wait on God, dude. The dude that I was talking about that
have faith and God will provide for you.
Just sit back and let him do it, right? They don't even say that in the Bible.
That's kind of like when you see somebody reaching out for help on Facebook and everybody's like, I'll give you prayers. You know what? Fuck that. Help that person.
Faith,
do something.
One of the most, not most quoted, but one of the highly quoted scriptures in the Bible is faith without works is dead. Like that tells you everything you need to know right there. You can't just say, God, I'm going to wait on you. Nah. So if you got this community that's raised on that, that's raised on looking at the system and saying, well, your dad was in prison. You know, like that's some. I give you a quick sidebar. My dad died. You know that for the longest, right? For my whole life.
I'd like to talk about that also. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do another one after this, but I definitely want to.
Yeah, we can definitely
talk about that. Sure.
But I've always had my father. One of the very few, probably the only dude that I know that had his dad, right? Now I don't have him. I'm starting to see some shit, right? That's kind of weird. I never had nobody. Okay. Let's get a quick backdrop. All right, this dude, he left his mom's house like 12 years old. She had too many kids. He was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Not selfishly for her, because he was trying to help her and make the load a little less. Draft dodger for pretty good. Like, he did a lot of foul shit for good reasons. What would be deemed as foul shit. He dodged the draft. He had just had my, I think my mom was pregnant, I think, with my sister. Drug addict early in his life, but took care of his kids, Never was the kind of guy to be like, public assistance or somebody stopping me from doing this or the system. I've never heard him one time say, the man got my foot on my neck or all that good time shit that people say. Yeah. he worked his ass off, right? I've been working since I was 13 years old. That is a testament to what he did.
You know, I work with this guy. I mean, I've seen you at work, and I'm like, damn, this dude is. You seem so. You seem really well rounded, really focused.
Well, that's because, you know, like you said. Well, you brought up the point of, if you've been shown this your whole life, how do you break that mentality? It's damn near impossible, right? I'm looking at it now, and I'm feeling bad for a lot of the young brothers in the black community, because I can see how hard it would be if I didn't have my father. I can imagine this shit would have been real. It'd have been real hard to break through that. If you don't know nothing but give me, you'll never be a giver. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's impossible. Like, you had to retrain your whole thought process.
Everybody owes me.
Yeah, like, it's no way. Like, as a man, like, I can't ask a person for shit. It's so hard for me to ask anybody for anything, because my dad never asked anybody for anything. He washed car windows, pick up cans and bottles.
That was a role. He was there as a role model.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, I don't even understand that logic. But at the same time, there's a whole slew of people, generation after generation, who have been fed that reality. So you ask, how can they break that? Well, first, they have to realize that there is something that needs to be broken, because as a man, woman, whatever, I say as a man, because in the black community, there's a big ass void there with men. Like, men are not there, you know. So the first thing would have to be, to break that mentality that you were speaking of, there has to be a awakening. You know, awareness, like, just like AA, you go to Alcohol Anonymous, drug rehab, the first thing they tell you is you're a crackhead or you're alcoholic. You have to come to terms with that first.
Yeah. Admit
if you
the
don't,
problem first.
If you don't, it's going to be mama's fault, daddy's fault, everybody's fault. It'll never be, I drunk that bottle of liquor on my own. So you have to be aware. Then, once you're aware, and I say that like it's easy as hell. It's not easy. No. Like, it takes so much investigation within yourself.
Well, it also takes a certain mindset to be able to say, wait, maybe this is not real. Exactly. Maybe this is all bullshit. Maybe there's another way. Maybe I can do something about this. Maybe, just imagine that moment when you realize, hey, like, I have control over what happens to me.
Exactly.
More so than what I'm told. And the empowerment that must bring.
Movie with Will Smith, the Eric Garner story, where he it's a true story about the financial dude, Eric Garner, I think is his name. The movie is Will Smith gets homeless. Him and his son, his wife leaves him. You ever seen the movie? It's called
The Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness.
I did see that. That was I've never been disappointed with the Will Smith movie.
That moment that you're talking about is that moment when he gets that job, when he outworks all them dudes that rich and got, or what, I don't know the situation, but those guys who were the shoe-ins for that position that he ended up getting, and he outworked them. And that moment at the end when they say, I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning and wear a suit, and he started crying, that's that moment that you realize, fuck this system, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing stopping me, but it takes mountains to get to that point.
Think about given that example, the amount of hunger you gotta
have it, man. You gotta have hunger.
It. Now check this out. Check this out. Usually, what ends up happening, the way the people that are in the more impoverished communities, they'll build themselves up by working for cheaper, working for less, working harder, outworking it. Once you get up to a certain level of wealth, you want to maintain that. Yeah. So what happens is you got the wealthy at the top going, or you got the lawmakers at the top going, well, wait a minute. If I'd like to keep things as they are. Yeah. If these poor folks are gonna work their asses, we don't want them to work their asses off.
Right. So
we're gonna, we'll basically the idea is to disempower you by saying, hey, we'll give you welfare, we'll take care of you. You ain't gotta work for it. And then when you're getting that little drip of welfare, you're like, man, this is great. I got my phone, got my you don't have to work. You don't have you're not nearly as hungry to fight for it. I know it's just a different way of looking at things. But
I mean, at the end of the day too, like I was telling that lady, the thing, this is I don't know how many people was in this country. Last time I checked was like 7 years ago, 8 years. It might have been longer than that. It was 300 something million.
It's over 350 million right now. Last I checked.
So you have to.
It's a lot of people.
You got to do the numbers there. We're not even talking about the world. We're talking about this.
I think the scientific term is a metric fuck ton.
Yeah.
That's the scientific.
Yeah. So when you think of that, you have to use logic again. Out of this many people, everybody's not gonna get it. That's just the truth of the matter. But we would hope
it would be insane to consider that everybody would.
Yeah. But we just hope that, because one thing I noticed at the Black Lives Rally, man, to go back to that.
Yeah. I
was talking to this lady. She was like, "This shit ain't gonna do nothing."
Yeah, let's wrap it up on that. There.
Yeah, she was like, "This shit ain't gonna do nothing. This, you know, what is this gonna do?" And I was telling her, I said, "You looking at it from what you can see with your eyes." I said, "What I'm looking at when I think of this, you go back to the civil rights movement, right? You might have had 20 people marching, or however many people, and out of the, let's say 20, 2 of them were white guys, right? Or maybe one white lady. This one that we had, the day that they had down there in Nashville, it was like
about half and half. What you were saying?
Almost half and half.
Yeah. So
I say, okay, let's do another 60 years. What is the numbers going to be then? That's what I'm looking at. You know, this. I swear it was. I don't never like. Chant out, shout out. Like, I'm real cool. I'm not that excited. But I was walking next to this white dude, and the fucking compassion in his voice, I don't know why he would fake it. It wouldn't be no reason to fake it. There wasn't no cameras out there, nothing. I don't think he would have Snapchatted to get extra pats on the back. He was just into what he was saying, right?
Yeah, you can tell when
you can tell,
authentic,
you know.
Sure.
And I look, and I'm walking next to him, and it's just like, I just had to shake him and dap him up, like, dude, you're the truth, dude. Like, I'm with you, my brother, you know. And so that's what I'm looking at. Laws, fuck a law, because I mean, they could change every law in the book. It's not going to change the perception and the outlook that whoever has about whatever they have. That's not going to change anything. But what can change is these children that we're having. Like, for instance, my daughter, when she was in Nashville, she was going to a school. Every friend she had was a little white girl. She didn't have she might have had 1 or 2 black friends at that school. Yep. I'm looking at 60 years down the road. You know, like when she has her kids and her kids got to go through high school. That's what we're working toward. We're not working toward stop shooting.
I'll tell you what. I really appreciate you coming here today.
Oh, man,
this honest conversation. Yeah, we don't get enough of this. I think and this kind of perspective to get it out there. I think this is going to be a great.
We get that woes me thing too much. I agree with you on that.
Well, so I'll tell you what. I hope we've covered something for you. Maybe hit on some perspectives you hadn't considered, or maybe a different way of looking at things, or maybe even hopefully this video might do some work in empowering somebody. Mm-hmm. You know, to look at their situation and go, man, maybe I do have more control over my situation than I'm being told. So just if you would like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let it. We're definitely open for having a conversation about this. If we're a couple of idiots and we're dead wrong and you got evidence to back it up, by all means, put that shit in the description in the comments below. We want to know because I don't want to be sitting here on my stool sounding like a damn idiot all the time. You know. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. Head over to unframeofmind.com. We've got the new Unframe of Mind unofficial freedom dictionary. Covers a lot of different terms and stuff. Covers a lot of different terms we might use in the show. And as a bonus, if you think of something that you think might fit in that dictionary, let me know. Send me an email, Daniel@unframeofmind.com, and we'll be sure to add that to the dictionary as well. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Peace out.